Yeah. It's the kid. Here's the kid. It's the main man here. Double to that age, half to the hope. Coming at you here for a little live football hot shows. Let's just get straight down into it to say and remind you again um, to listen to the Talking Tactics podcast that I do every Tuesday with my main man Daniel Tillich, which is obviously out there on the SoundCloud and so forth. But let's just really get down to what's happening. Biggest story of the day really is your boy Leroy Sane. Um, he's now moved to Manchester City for Schalke because for some strange reason, Schalke are obsessed with letting go of their players. You know, Schalke for some reason have become like a whorehouse. They just want to prostitute and send out all of the great young talents that they had. I think Schalke, they've had a lot of guys. Schalke had Neuer at one point. Schalke, they had Draxler, and now Sane, and I'm sure there are other great names that I'm missing that they've had and they've just easily sold off. Um, so with the whole Sane thing, this because I've always said, like I feel Pep is still overrated as a coach. I don't care when anyone says I don't think he deserves the kind of praise that he receives, but I will not be foolish enough to say that he's not a good coach. And if you're a young player looking to develop, he's definitely a good coach to work under who can actually improve you and make you better. Um, so, and also when you think about the Premiership as well, the Premiership is in this area. This isn't a defensive league. Leroy Sané is quick, he's fast, he's attacking, he's direct, he always wants to move forward. And I think that a guy like that who you give him space with, he's going to cause you a lot of damage. And because of the Premiership giving you a lot of space, I think it's going to be really, really good. So I think, for Pep, it's because again, you would think that it's not really a Pep kind of player. But again, remember, he's moving into a different market. This is the Premiership right now. And I think if he has studied the league, he will know that, all right, we we need to have the technicality and keeping possession, but we also need to actually have those kinds of impact attacking kind of players, i.e., the more technical, slower players who really wanted to have more time on the ball don't actually work in the Premiership. In the Premiership, you really need this is speed will always put you in good stead in the Premiership. If you've got speed in your team and a speedy attacker, that will do you very well. So, um, because again, it is interesting. The Leroy Sané thing is interesting because he isn't like a Pedro David Villa kind of guy who is possession based. He really, literally is the kind of player who would work great when you're trying to counter attack. And Pep's teams, how many times do these guys counter attack? They don't really counter attack that much. So it is interesting because again, this isn't a Pep kind of player. So what this tells me is that Pep, he's he's going to bring in his philosophy, but I think with what you were saying with Bayern towards the end of his reign, he's trying to create an equilibrium. I'm going to bring in that possession stuff, but let's me embrace the Premiership and the English way of playing, i.e., attack, move forward. Let's create some intensity, and also let's also bring in some counter-attacking football as well. Um, but I think this leads into potentially the Manchester derby, and I think that Manchester derby is that for me is the most anticipated match of this year. It's the biggest match of this year. Like it's bigger than Barcelona, Real Madrid. It's bigger than Bayern, Dortmund. This is going to be the biggest, most anticipated match in a long time because of Pep and Mourinho, and because of the kinds of players that these guys are acquiring. Especially if you were to think of Mourinho getting Pogba, that would be crazy. And let me just say this again because I've said this many times. I've written articles about it. I've said it in videos, so forth. Pogba, don't ruin your career. As a young player, look, I told you I'm a Mourinho fan. Mourinho is my guy. I still think he's one of the greatest managers in the world. But even I will say that if you're a young player, you don't really want to go to Mourinho. Mourinho doesn't really improve young guys. Mourinho is a winning now kind of manager. He isn't like a long-term coach and building something here. Because again, say what you will about Van Gaal. Van Gaal is a great coach for young players. The amounts of people, remember Van Gaal, he was the guy that really was the godfather of that Ajax team in the mid 90s. And really, it was because of him that you saw was Bergkamp, Kanu, Overmars, Mary Lepmanen, Finidi George. See, you saw how these boys basically all grew based upon his tutelage. That's not what Mourinho does. So for Pogba, mate, you don't want to do this. You do not want to move to United because, first of all, you've not yet reached that 26, 27 age of maturity where you hit your peak. You've still got a lot of growing up to do. You've still got a lot of maturing to do as a player. So, my gosh, Pogba, chill out, relax, and do not relapse. But yeah, man, I think, the Manchester Derby is going to be lit. The Manchester Derby is going to be lit. So I can't wait for that. But again, some news dropped before I rolled up on this, and I think the main news that was in here, which is trending on Twitter, was well, let me see, Drax. So according to Bild, which is the main German news papier, the boy Drax has said that he wants a transfer from Wolfsburg. And look, Arsenal are linked with Santa Claus at these days because Arsenal always are linked with everybody. So I always take that with a grain of salt because Arsenal are literally linked. They're linked with Putin. They're linked with Satan. They're linked with bloody Kal-El from Krypton. So but what I want to focus on is that this is bad news for Wolfsburg. Because again, Draxler was literally the only dude that was keeping them up. They've lost, so they lost De Bruyne. They've lost Scholler. If Wolfsburg now are to lose Draxler, Wolfsburg can say goodbye to any chance of them becoming top four. And I think me and Daniel, we talked about this on the Talking Tactics show before. Draxler ain't staying at Wolfsburg long term. Because for me, he's leaving. I just didn't think that he would leave this early. But 100%, a guy that talented, with what he did at these Euros, Wolfsburg, they can't keep him. So all Wolfsburg can hope for is that let's just get a lot of money from him. But there's no way that he will see out his contract at Wolfsburg because too many people want this kid. So yeah, that's the main thing. And another thing out there is that I was hearing some stuff about Gignac. And apparently, and again, I don't know whether this is true, but Gignac, Barcelona wants to get Gignac. For me, I don't get that. That doesn't make any sense to me, and it doesn't even fit. Forget about if Gignac could even do something. Remember, Gignac, this boy is playing in the Mexican league. Okay, he's doing the cucaracha in the damn Mexican league. So I don't even know what the hell is trying to even think he can do anything in Europe. But even if he could do something, it's just a bad fit. The way Barcelona play and the football that they play is completely at odds to a guy who is overweight. I'm not saying that to be rude or anything. The fact is that this dude, he is overweight. So I think that really that's just a dumb move. But something I'm looking at here again from Goal.com is Mario Gomez. So apparently Barcelona and Dortmund are in talks to get Mario Gomez. Let me be real with you right now. I mean, I think with Mario Gomez, looking at Barcelona, Mario Gomez reminds me of the Ibra deal. Because Mario Gomez and Ibra are similar. Obviously, Ibra, there's a lot more to his game and it's a lot more mobile and it's a lot more acrobatic. But they are both pretty similar kind of catch. They're pretty similar kind of cats. And again, I'm not sure that that's a really good fit. Dortmund getting Mario Gomez is excellent. That is an excellent purchase for Dortmund because the dude, I don't even know what his name. I think Colombian guy. His name doesn't mean anything to me. He's trash. He's complete and utter trash. So he's not even good enough to be on the subs bench. Dortmund, you need a plan B. Okay, because yes, it's sexy with Aubameyang, Royce, and all this kind of stuff, but you need a plan B. And I'm always a fan of like have that strong, focused presence in the 18-yard box and surround that with Mario Götze and Reshola, Marco Reus, and so forth. That always puts you in an excellent positiones. Puts you in an excellent position. So Dortmund 100%, I think that they should really get that. Let me just send out this tweet to people who want to join it because I mean, obviously, I wanted to start this off. Sorry, to join the show. I wanted to start this off with me just doing it by myself, just to get through all these news stories before I really dug deep into allowing people to join in on the show. So yeah, man. I mean, the season starting is starting very soon, and I actually just realized that everything really pops off next weekend. Everything pops off next weekend, which is crazy, But I think, you know, I want to just quickly touch upon Arsenal, And I think the thing with Arsenal is this because every single time on Twitter, I'm always see these guys trending, this, that, and everything. And I think because I've been on the record to say that, as long as Wenger is manager, Arsenal will never win the league. And there were some people that took issue with that. And I was like, if you're an Arsenal fan and if you have any sense whatsoever, because there are times when I understand you being a fan, but you've got to be a sensible, logical human being before being a fan. That has to supersede any kind of thing that you're doing, man. So if you're a sensible cat, man, you have to pretty much accept that with Wenger, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I don't care whether they finished second before, because again, last season was Arsenal's best chance to win it. In a season in which Chelsea fell by the wayside and the only people you were chasing were Leicester and Tottenham, and you still didn't manage to close that damn deal. So it's like, for those Arsenal guys, they've got to, just fall back and say that unless you change the approach, it's not going to happen. So I think for Wenger, the dude is making money. It's a comfortable, cushy job for him. He's getting the top four. And the thing about this is that when you have Arsenal fans who still believe that, I think we can win it this season, you have Wenger laughing. Because as long as it's 50-50, as long as it's split, some that want him to go and others that are fine with him and think he's done a great job, this dude will stay. That's the fact that this dude will stay. So yeah, man. So I think touching upon quickly the Bundesliga again, because I have always felt and believe that what's also called. I've always felt and always believed that I think Dortmund are really going to be a team to watch. It's something that we're in. Just trying to promote the Talking Tactics podcast show with Daniel Tiluk. Remember, get up on that and you can listen to it. There's a link towards it on the main website, halfoffootballhot.com. Head out to the official site. And what we obviously discuss important is, my thing is that Dortmund are going to be a serious team to watch. I think they need another central defender. I think they maybe need another midfielder just to, add towards the squad. But apart from that, especially if these guys can get Mario Gomez, I think Dortmund can do something in the Champions League. They can do something in the Champions League, and just even very briefly diving into the Champions League now, just like the last 15 minutes of the show. You see, like we know of the big dogs, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Barcelona, and so forth. But I don't think Atletico are going to do it because I look at how Atletico lost that Champions League final last year, and I was like, you know what? I don't think it's ever going to happen for them. I don't think it's ever going to happen for Atletico, and I just think that they will keep on falling by the wayside. They will keep on struggling, and I just thought that was their perfect moment to win it. That was a perfect moment. But I'm looking at Dortmund, and apart from Dortmund, I mean, that's what you. I mean, I'm because again, like obviously Chelsea are not going to be in it. Man City, Pep has too much work to do with Man City. Leicester don't. I mean, don't please. I mean, because again, for the Premiership, they've got what Leicester, Arsenal, Tottenham. Those three, and as well, I think those three guys are automatically in it. And you know what? I don't think those guys would. Leicester will not do anything. Tottenham won't do anything. Arsenal quarters max. So, and if Man City qualify for it, nah, I just think Pep. There's too much work to do. Maybe next season they can possibly happen. But I mean, the teams to watch out for. I think for me, my eyes are on Juventus and Dortmund. Because obviously, if Juventus lose Pogba, that is actually a sizable loss. Because I've always said that Pogba isn't like definitive for Juventus. Juventus can survive without Pogba, but still without him, it'll be difficult. So just to think about it, you've now lose three of your main midfielders, i.e. Vidal, Pirlo, and now Pogba. That's hard because it's very hard to replace all three of those cats. It's very hard to replace all three of those cats. But I think, guys, because I think on Twitter, someone just put an image of the Dortmund squad. And those guys, I think, guys, I mean, that's why I'm telling you guys, man, whether you support a team, whether you support, you've always got to, I assume that you are a fan of football before any team. Yeah, you want your team to do well, you want everything to do well, but surely you must be a fan of football. Hence why, even if you don't support Barcelona, you've got to admire the artistry and the genius of Messi. So even if you don't support Dortmund, watching how those guys played last season was a joy to watch. If you love football, you have to appreciate what Dortmund did last season. As in, like, literally, if I was a player, playing that Dortmund team of last season would be amazing. It would be incredible to play in that team. So, they're definitely guys to look out for because again, like Gundogan is a big loss. Hummels as well, and Mkhitaryan. Those are losses. And again, who knows what the new guys will do? But at the same time, I mean, it's just an exciting prospect of Scholler and Marigota. But again, guys, there is another side of the coin. And Scholler has not had a great season for Wolfsburg. Mario Götze, he's been struggling. So which is why I say to guys that same thing with the whole Ibra thing. Don't hype up. Don't overhype. Do not get too overexcited about things. Wait for the season to start. Let me see what Marigotsa and Dr. Dre Scholler do in the first 5 games. Give me 5 games. Just give me 5 games and then I can ride and roll through. So that's the main thing out there, But I think, looking at these valuations of things again, I mean, I always have to sort of fall back on this whole valuation of things, man, is that 100 million, for Pogba, was it like 70 something million for Higuain? The valuations are crazy. Obviously, you've got to put things in context, i.e., inflation, years have gone by, but still, it's like that number is still that number out there. Which is why that you've got to appreciate what Simeone does with Atletico, and you've got to still appreciate what Tuchel does with Dortmund. You've got to appreciate what Emery does with Sevilla, because again, it's like I've always said that, which is what I was trying to explain with my whole thing with me supporting Chelsea and why I don't support them anymore, is that and I knew this, I foresaw this back in the mid 2000s, that once Abramovich came in with so much money, with so much dust within him, I was like, this is going to kill club football. That's what I said. I said that this is going to kill club football, and it did, and it has essentially, because of the excess of that cash. So wait, Abdul, is your mic working there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, cool. All right, yeah. So look, man, just talking really about just these transfers out there. I mean, did you hear about the whole Leroy Sane to Man City?
Yeah, it was. I don't know about that. To be honest, I don't watch a lot of Bundesliga, so I don't know if it's worth it or not.
Mm.
So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you can tell me, but I don't watch a lot of
Oh no, no,
Bundesliga.
I mean, yeah, it's like, he's not really like a major player, but I think, I mean, looking at who City have and who United have, which Manchester team do you think is in a stronger place?
Uh, it's really hard. I think, look, this is what we're seeing in the market right now. Players like these days, players are being bought for potential more for what they actually are.
Mm.
Like when was the last time a player got bought for what he's actually worth? It's all about potential now. You buy a player for what he could be in 5, 6 years, which is I think is stupid because yeah, potential should be a part of it, but you shouldn't be paying 80% of the price tag just for the potential. You have to give me something today, the day I sign you. But in terms of the Manchester clubs, I think I thought City had the advantage, but until I saw pictures of Aguero and he looked overweight, I don't know what's up with him. He looks like depressed or something.
Mm.
And I saw Nasri's overweight too. Just a bunch of their players look out of shape and look like I don't know, like they need
I
new
mean,
challenges.
but don't you have faith that Pep will be able to like rein them in, really push them hard, and really get them back in
Well,
shape
that's the
for
thing.
next weekend?
Like for example, apparently Pep banned pizza, and he told Nazir you can't train because you're fat and stuff. But that might backfire, right? Because what Pep is doing is right. But
Mm.
I think I think a lot of those players, like a guy like Nasri, he's a really good player. But I think he might like he doesn't have ambition anymore. You know what I mean? I think he could be, just doing right now. He's just taking the money from football, but you have to question his ambition because he sat on the bench for a while, for like a year or something, and this guy didn't even care. And
No,
you
no,
look
no,
at
no.
Aguero, how he's overweight. Like if you have ambition, you never see guys like you can say what you want about Ronaldo or something, but you never see a guy like Ronaldo ever go like that. You never see a guy like Lewandowski ever, even if he goes on vacation, he's never overweight like that.
No, no, for me, I think like, look, man. I mean, Nasri, like, it's like, I mean, ever since he left Arsenal, he's pretty much screwed up his career, and I think like there is no way back for Nasri. Like, and if I was advising him, this is what I wrote in one of my articles, is that he has to leave. I don't think there's any place for him in City. Even if Pep says, "Oh no, trying to get back in it," I don't think Pep even has Nasri in his plans. I think for Nasri is that, look, man, you've wasted a lot of your years, man. You've wasted a lot of years, and you just really need to bounce. But I think like it's going to be, for me, I think it's very difficult to see where things stand. But I mean, I'm looking at, because I mean, I'm not even sure whether either of those Manchester teams will win the Premiership. I'm still sticking with Chelsea. But it's like,
I don't, to be honest, I don't know who will win it. Like you can't tell, but yeah, I don't think those guys will take like the both Manchester teams. I don't think they'll take. I think
yeah,
they'll struggle.
obviously, like, I think that I don't think they realize. Maybe they're beginning to realize, but I don't think before they got the job they realized how much work was needed. Because for Pep, man, remember, this isn't Barcelona who are Barcelona and you had Messi, Eto'o, and all those boys. This isn't Bayern Munich, a team who had won the treble once you entered them. You're coming into City, the Premiership, a team who, remember, Bayern Munich and Barcelona are still historically big clubs. Man City don't have a history. you know, they only became relevant like 4 or 5 years ago, so they don't
Yeah,
actually have a history within them. So you don't have the kind of establishments that you had at Bayern Munich. You're coming in and you really have to do some serious work. You have to work with them. Like, look, the whole thing of guys being overweight, that ain't happening to Bayern Munich. No way. There is no way that is even an issue
yeah,
at somewhere like Bayern
that's
Munich. But Man
definitely.
City, like, I'm not trying to insult the club, but Man City, like I told you, they're only beginning to figure out this whole big club thing. It really is a group of mercenaries. There really isn't that kind of club ethos that you have at Barcelona or Bayern Munich, which those clubs are really like families and long because of the kind of history they have and the success they've had over like decades. There's like a stronger foundation for them. Whereas City, they don't have that kind of successful history. So for Pep, man, that's why I loved him taking this. Because for Pep, let's now see how good you are as a coach. Because if Pep wins the season or does really well for City this coming season, then I'm like, wow, that is amazing. Because I think he's gonna have the biggest shock of his life. You know, playing away at Stoke in January, playing some of these thugged out teams in the Premiership, he's gonna have the shock of his life. And as for Mourinho, man, United have not been relevant since Ferguson left them.
Mourinho's making it. I think Mourinho's making a big mistake. He's putting so much pressure on himself. When you look
Yeah.
at what he's doing in the market, like what he's doing in the market, like you better win. I think he better win. Like the pressure is on him. He cannot flop.
Well, no, for me, I just think that for Mourinho, it's like that's the thing that I'm afraid of is that I don't think Mourinho really realizes that, man, just
Exactly.
chill. Like, don't, like, just take it easy. Like, yes, I know that it's Man United is a big club, but these are guys who, what's it called, seventh, sixth. I mean, these are guys who literally have fallen so far down since Ferguson has left. You have to deal with a guy called Carrick. You have to deal with a guy called Carrick. You have to deal with a guy
Yeah,
called
the
Rooney.
thing is, like you're breaking. Like I don't think he realizes you're buying. You right now you're about to break the transfer world record fee for Pogba, and you're gonna get Pogba, and you're gonna play him next to Schneiderlin,
And
to
Carrick.
Carrick, to Ander Herrera. Whatever. The Pogba is still what 23, I think. The
He's still
guy
growing.
is not ready for this challenge. I'm just saying, like Pogba's whole career, he's played next to Pirlo, Marquisio.
Vidal.
Vidal. He played next to veterans.
No, 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 because I've always said is that Look, I think Pogba is good, but Pogba is not the kind of player who can step into a team and completely, like, step into any team and completely, like, do his thing. He needs to be surrounded by good players in order to look good. Like, he isn't like a vintage Zidane, a Pirlo, and Iniesta who put them in any team, they will still regulate. Like, he puts Pogba next to Carrick and Schneiderlin, man, it'll get ugly.
Because the problem, I mean, Pogba could turn into that player in the future. We don't know, but the thing about Pogba, what makes him special, is like the moments that he has. Like he has that he has that technical ability of like a bit of a street footballer. Like he has those magical moments.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But because he plays in midfield, like those moments would be because he plays in midfield, he needs someone to carry him in order to have those moments. Because when you're a midfielder, it's 90-minute back and forth, back and forth. So he needs someone like Pirlo, for example, to dictate a game for him in order for him to receive the ball in those pockets and for him to make that difference. But at Man United, it's all on him. He has to control the game. He has to do everything in midfield.
Yeah, for me, that's why I think, like, like, understand Mourinho trying to go from, but I think for Mourinho is like, because again, the fact that they're bidding 100 million plus, it shows that, okay, these guys have a lot of money. So I think the smartest thing to do is like get those scouts out there and buy three really good players that nobody knows about. Like your Portuguese, look at the
Do you
Portuguese,
know? Do you know
look at
that
West
City?
Africa.
Yeah. Do you know that City got Gundogan for 20 million?
Oh wow!
20
So
million
was that his buyout clause or?
is I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think Dortmund just accepted it because he had a year left on his contract.
Shit.
And United could have gotten that. Like it just doesn't make sense. You could have gotten Gundogan for 20 million,
Oh
and
no,
then
no,
you go
but I think
spend.
no, I think once Pep was in the frame, like I think Gundogan like again, same thing with like Sane. I think Pep was a big factor in Gundogan going to City over United. Because
But
look, I
but, but do
think
you think if they because you just spent 150 million, so if you put 50 million, you would have gotten him because they bid 20 million, City bid 20 million, so you could have snatched him. But yeah, I think United. I think United are. I think they don't want to go for potential. They're the opposite of everyone else. They're trying to go for finished products. I mean, you look at Ibra, Mkhitaryan, they're all finished products.
and also like I think that's why for Mourinho is like that's why I'm saying that it like Pep is a much more of like a long term coach. So if you're a young player, you go with Pep. If you're a young player, you don't go to Mourinho, you know,
Yeah,
because Mourinho is a win now kind of guy, and he's not the kind of guy who will develop and improve a young player. Like how many young players have improved under Mourinho?
I think Ozil maybe at Madrid. I thought he made him the world's best number 10 at the time. But yeah, it's obviously not as much as Pep.
So you don't
But
know
what
yet.
do you think? Don't you think Mourinho's making the same mistakes though, in terms of like, because you can already sense a bit of tension in the dressing room with the whole Martial number 9 thing. He took the number 9 off Martial and gave it to Ibra without his permission.
I mean, like basically, like I mean, like, basically just to end the show on that, man. I think because I think me and Daniel were talking about that on our Talking Tactics show, and I was talking to with someone else, and it's like it's a complex thing because for me, it's weird because on one hand, it's like Martial is your long-term guy. Ibra has signed a 1-year contract. He's in his mid-30s now. Martial is what you want to keep for the next 4 or 5 years. So he really ought to be the number 9. But on the other hand, it's like it is Ibrahimovic. He has had a career. So that career supersedes Martial, a young gun who has only just started playing. So out of respect and the fact that he is your superstar and you're literally putting him on like sponsorship campaigns and everything, if he asks for the number 9, you do have to give him the number 9
But
based
but
on
the thing is,
the name.
Martial said he didn't even like ask him for it. It just got like literally he didn't know anything about it until the
I mean,
numbers
but
came
it's
out.
like at the end of the day, like I'm just like, who is Martial? Like this is Ibrahimovic, a guy who, like, for the past 10 or so years, has been in the international film. He's won league titles. Like, look at the kind of goals he's got. Look at the kind of career he's had. It's the kind of thing of like where you're a young player. You're in your early 20s now, so you shouldn't even really need to be asked about this because look, man, it's like this is Ibrahimovic coming. So it's almost something that you should expect it to happen, especially when you're a player who you haven't really done anything yet of note
Mm.
internationally. You've got to step aside and say, like,
Did
yeah,
you
look,
see
it is.
the picture of Gutsa? The how overweight he got?
Oh yeah, yeah, like like it's so like I thought that the picture of now was a picture of the old. But I was like, why has he put on so much weight?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I just don't understand how footballers gain so much weight. Like as much as you eat, at the end of the day, you practice every day, like 3 4 hours. Like you should
I
be able
think
to
guys are just
burn it.
getting lazy now, man. Like seriously, like there's like no discipline anymore
It's
in
a
it.
joke. Like you make millions and
But
millions
like
for you to
I
get
mean, come on, you
fat.
can't just show up like overweight when like there's like the season is almost around the corner, man. Look, man, that's messed up. Guys, look, man, I'm out, man. Look, all right,
Um, uh,
I'll see you tomorrow, man. Peace. All right.